see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth.
I just realized just now that when you don't even need to give me the cue, because up on the left-hand corner, it pops up live.
I was gonna say, because you started a little early.
Well, I know, but I'm just gonna have that running anyway, because it doesn't matter, because it's just it's gonna bleed in anyway.
We should figure out like a countdown thing where it just. I've seen a few videos where it's like a full-on countdown.
Well, so they've got that screen that we can show that has like a count. Yeah,
there it is.
Right, and we can and we can create one with against our backdrop that's a 30-second countdown. This one is a 3-second deal.
Okay,
right, and then it's off. But it's pretty cool. This StreamYard, by the way, if you're ever thinking about podcasting, StreamYard, I highly recommend it. It's really simple. I mean, that's two idiots, tech idiots, can figure it out. Anybody can.
Why is it telling us? You see the little thing at the top?
It says
connection is unstable. Next to that, though,
mine doesn't say connection's unstable. Mine's good, but are you?
I'm hooked up to the direct thing. Yeah.
Okay. We had our. We're both a little. Not quite as sharp as.
It reset. I'm on now.
Okay.
It resets. Remember when it shut down?
Yeah. Oh, it went wireless.
It went back to the other thing.
All right.
So we are
on the other one, but it doesn't fuck it up, does it?
Shouldn't.
So we're both a little rusty this morning because we did our staff party. We did our staff party last night.
It's good times.
Which is something we do every year at Diablo, and it's I don't know. It reminded me because I saw Jamie's wife, Christy Lee, who's a regionals team competitor, and then actually helped our team qualify for the games. And she had a knee injury.
She had 2012. She was on the qualifying team.
Yeah,
that was the year that I proposed.
That's right.
We were actually out there on the field.
And then she stepped down so that I think
Whitney stepped in.
Yeah, Whitney stepped in that day, which is a very difficult thing to do. Yeah. You guys, any affiliates have been out there where you can have the substitution where an athlete can try as an individual at the regionals, and if they don't make it, they can move back to team. And if your team qualifies, that is one of the most difficult things an affiliate can go through.
Who's going to be this side? Who's going to be on the side, the bench?
Who's going to be on the bench? So this team that bonds at the regionals bonds. I mean, there's something that happens that's special.
Yeah.
Especially if they fought hard to qualify.
Yeah, that was not an easy one.
No.
Do you remember that the end of that, the final event, we were going head to head against TJ's. We had to beat TJ's gym.
Right.
I remember we were back in the barracks, like when you're staging and preparing to go out on the floor, and it was Diablo chanting DCF versus the TJ's chanting, TJ's,
and then Rock,
and it was back. No, but they had already kind of locked it in.
Yeah,
but it was like, we need to beat them in order to move on.
Yeah.
That was the year that 808 got DQ'd for popping.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And those guys were awesome too.
Yeah.
It's always those were some great years.
But
anyway,
really fun.
But back to that point was if your team qualified and then your individual athlete who is your alternate team member didn't qualify as an individual,
somebody's
there's going to be a decision to make.
Yeah.
And we always defaulted and is that we want to send the best team possible to the games. As we defaulted to that. Other gyms didn't. They would send the crew that qualified too, but we didn't. And it, there's a lot of different arguments that can be made for it, but one of them is the one that resonated the most with me is, especially with the athlete that is the one that's on the bubble, is having the conversation with about, do you want to be at the games, standing under the rings, not able to get that, fifth or sixth muscle.
What kind of experience are you trying to get out of this?
Right. In knowing that there's an athlete that's in the stands that could have been knocking out those muscle ups, and how do you think you'll feel?
Yeah.
And when you put it in those kinds of terms, you're like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still nonetheless, creates a lot of drama within affiliates.
And we took it even so that was 2012, right? And 2013, that was the first year Sandra went, Alessandra Pacelli went individual,
right?
And missed the fucking podium by a bogus tiebreaker,
right?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But then there was 2014 where we had 3 teams and 3 individuals going to regionals, which completely spread out our
Oh,
field.
yeah.
That was one of those situations where if we had flip-flopped one athlete, we probably would have won regionals that year.
Yeah.
Without Whitney being on the team.
Yeah. So we again, as an affiliate, we had to decide: do we give as many athletes as possible the opportunity to go to regionals, give them the regionals experience?
It was a pretty cool experience, though, having 3 teams out there.
It
That was really cool.
And hats off to those affiliates that are just have the depth, to put multiple teams at the semifinals and multiple teams, at the games. So Mayhem's, I think, one of the only ones that puts multiple teams at the games.
They're the only ones that have gone as far as multiple teams have gone.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I know like Rhapsody CrossFit out in North Carolina has put multiple teams at the regionals. I want to say Coda CrossFit in Oklahoma. They put like 3 or 4 teams. At semifinals as well. Like there's some gyms that really just can stack it. Which is cool. But man, it's having that depth these days, I think, is harder than back in the day. Back in the day, we had more depth.
Back in the day, it was back in the day.
We say back in the day, we're talking like 2017 and pre 2017, pre 2018. Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, this wasn't even on our freaking topic of discussion.
That's all right. This is good conversation.
We came off the staff party last night. So the reason why I brought up Christy, Jamie's wife, is because I see her. That's when I see her every year. Well, I mean, I see her in class
here,
but I see her outside of the gym, and it reminded me. And she said she's been coming to him since we've been doing staff dinner since probably 2010. I think.
Yeah.
Just pulling our team together, doing a dinner, celebrating our coaches, telling. And one of the things I like to do, I'll get up and I'll tell. It's really easy to do. I mean, literally, I don't do a lot of prep, but because you get up and you just look at the coach and you can tell a story about them. if you're around the gym enough, you've got a story to tell about every coach. Whether it's their music selection, their jokes that they tell in class, their mobility work that they do, or lack of mobility work that they do. But anyway, this year it was really cool, and I would encourage other affiliates, if you're ever like interested in doing something for your coaches and you don't have a lot of time personally to do it, and you want to make it meaningful for the coaches, just send an email to a few members and ask them to give some commentary on the coaches, just a gratitude. So I sent out 2 days before this party. I'm like, oh, you know what? It'd be good to this year to, instead of me rambling on, is to have, our members say something that I can read. So I said 2 to 3 sentences. Please give me 2 to 3 sentences. And I gave them an example and gave them things to touch on. Literally gave bullet points.
And coached them through it.
But my thinking was that I want because sometimes they get busy and they don't respond to the emails. I knew it was last minute, so I wanted to give them make it easy for them. Holy crap! I got some amazing emails and some incredible content that I now have to send to them, our coaches, because the emails
it's too depth.
Oh, one email came in from Janeth, and he's Indian. He's been with us for about a year. About 8 months into his time with us, he had to fly back to India to get leg surgery because he has a vein issue that was only fixable by surgery. It was a very serious issue. But he told his story and then how he's recovered as a result of CrossFit. And then he doesn't have any medications. He doesn't have to do physical therapy. And he's back to doing CrossFit. He's lost weight. And he was able recently to do a 12,000 foot peak in the Himalayas on his last trip to India. It's that's a
great story.
Yeah. So I asked for 2 to 3 sentences. He sends me 2 to 3 pages with pictures. And they start out. I know instantly when I get the email back, it's going to be a long one where it says, "I'm sorry, I went longer than what you asked," but they are amazing. And one member, Andrew Lloyd, this one that I'm going to share, and I read this one. I did read this long one. He wrote a haiku poem for every single coach. And it's epic. Anyway, so as an affiliate owner, if you're looking for a way to give recognition,
that's a good idea
for your coaches. Reach out to your community, because you see and interact with your members, and you hear about how good your coaches are from your members, but a lot of times it doesn't make it back to the coaches. in a true in a way that those members really mean to. Like, they won't say those words.
Yeah.
You know, they often don't have very much time to talk to the coach. Coach got to go. They got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out, man, because it's powerful. And then the members really appreciated that I did it.
Yeah.
They were so grateful that I had reached out to them to ask them.
Yeah.
Super powerful, but a great tip for affiliate owners during the holidays.
That's a really good tool.
But we talked about last week the Open,
Mm-hmm.
and
intramural preparation.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to talk about, not necessarily, yeah, we can talk about intramural prep, but I just wanted to talk about, and we can talk about this, which one you think's better, and we can talk about what we should do at Diablo this year.
Yeah.
And I know which way he's leaning already because we talked last night about it, but is how to get your community involved in the Open.
Yeah.
There's some affiliates that don't do the Open. I would encourage you to. It is, again, I'll repeat it, it's a unique and distinguishing characteristic of CrossFit. No other fitness methodology has something like this. It is the ultimate manifestation of measurable and repeatable.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, because CrossFit is measurable and repeatable, we can have an Open and compete worldwide.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a distraction. Yes, it's a pain in the ass. Yes, scoring is tough. Yes, it promotes competition. You like it as a programmer, right?
Yeah, I love it. This is the time of the year where we get to test ourselves.
Right.
I mean, it's outside of my control as far as like what's being programmed. All I can do is speculate on what we might see, which I love doing.
Right.
It's like a hobby of mine during this time of the year.
Related to programming.
Mm-hmm.
Your focus as a programmer does tend to help prepare us for the Open as we head into January. What are your thoughts on? Because I've had a couple masters ask me this. How come we don't start doing open workouts?
Open workouts. Well,
right.
So here's the thing. The way I write our programming, I look at a macro calendar, right? And we've talked about this in the past on the podcast. Our goal is to improve our work capacity across broad time modal domains. And the way we do that is traditional CrossFit with a twist of progressions that's periodized. So we've been building up our Olympic weightlifting, our gymnastic skill work. We've been building a foundation around that. Now, as we head into January, especially in January, we will see a lot more open workouts. Along with some EMOM type formats where we're going to be testing some of these gymnastic skills under an increased intensity time frame. So we'll have, like 20 seconds on, 40 seconds on for a couple rounds. Then we'll go to an actual set rep scheme. And then we're going to go right into an actual workout with those same patterns. Yeah. So we're building upon that foundation of work capacity that we built up over the last year. Now, the other thing that we're going to see in January all the way up to the Open is we are doing an open workout every week. Now, we're doing the open workout on Fridays. Now, any of our subscribers, they have the opportunity if they are planning to do an open workout on, say, Saturday. If Saturday is going to be the day that their gym gets together to do it, they can move that day around and make it work to their community.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing and the way I'm looking at it is that open workout falls on a Friday because that's when we're doing our workouts, right? Friday Night Lights. So this is our chance to kind of rehearse our week, essentially. What is our week going to look like on those days of the actual open competition? So that way, when we show up in February on the 17th, when we're going to be doing it,
right? That's right.
They have an idea what they're doing. Yeah. Their warm up, they've got a routine down, their nutrition's kind of dialed in as far as like when they're eating in relation. And rest days.
Yeah. And so as an affiliate owner, what I'm thinking about is, getting my community wanting to participate in the Open. And so the program, having this programming like it is, and then having our coaches talk about it as part of the, their introduction to the day's workout helps get them ready for the Open.
It's more in their face, right? Yeah. And not in a bad way. It's
no.
And the beauty about this too is we're repeating open workouts. Like, I'm not making up workouts. We're repeating some of the previous workouts. So that way, those that have done them before have some data so they can actually see where their improvements are.
One of the comments I got last night from a member about our coaches was her talking about her first open experience, how she was terrified. She literally was going to leave. She was at Friday Nights Here and she was going to leave.
Yeah.
So she was on the verge of tears. And then Coach Jackson, saw her and said, "Hey, by the way, you ready? Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to think about." But what's nice about having the programming prep is, and then our coaches talking about along the way, is we're helping people mentally prepare for this ahead of time. So by the time we get to the open, hey, if you've been coming to class, you are going to be ready.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. Cause when I talk about like that work capacity, we're building that work capacity over the year, that's where we're putting in the work.
Yeah.
When we get into January and we're doing those open prep workouts, that's not like going to help us. I mean, in some ways it'll help us prepare like physiologically, but like mentally, that psychological aspect is a major factor when you go into these workouts.
Absolutely.
So especially if you have done an open workout that we're going to be repeating, you gotta already have that. Ooh, this hurts.
Yeah, this hurts.
So you're mentally preparing yourselves to go into it again.
But also, I know I can do this. Like I'm not gonna die.
I've been through this. I've survived.
It's like literally, I want people to go in just thinking it's just another workout.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that other ways to get your community involved in this. One of the ways that we've successfully done it in the past is with an intramural open. The other way we've done it last year, what we did, there's three open workouts, and we just did each one as a theme. So we do Friday Night Lights. I would highly recommend leveraging the opportunity during the open to create a community event.
Yeah.
So, based around a workout. Like what a great way to bring your community together. They suffer together, they high five each other, the morning class people see the evening class people, do a Friday Night Lights or do a
Saturday main event.
Those are 2 times that usually work for most of your community, or do both if you got a large community.
Well, we also have sometimes Thursday night. Well, they're releasing the workouts early again this year, right?
Yeah, Thursday at noon. But we would do like you could do Thursday night if you want.
I call that Thursday test subjects.
Yeah.
Tell us how it went.
We would have some of the top athletes would want to do it on Thursday night. I remember Alessandra would, because just in case she needed to repeat.
Yeah. Which I think with this new format, I don't necessarily see a lot of repeats unless you're like planning to win the open. Right. You just need to be the top 10%.
Top 10% in your region.
Which is great because it takes a little bit of that pressure off
so much
for those competitive athletes.
So much better for the competitive athletes.
Because there's a lot going on with, multiple heats, and with those athletes, they've got to record everything. Right. So I've been going back and forth as to which one we want to do this year. Jamie wants to do the intramural open. He thinks we can do it, pull it off. We'll talk about that for a little bit. How's your battery life on your computer, by the way? Yeah, so I did forget one little component. I got 45%, so we're good. We're good. Okay, yeah, we're good.
In the last year we did themes. So there was the one theme night was tie dye, and everybody came dressed in tie. Which was the
final. That was the final week.
The final week that was fun, and then we did neon night where everybody dressed in neon. And then
sports theme.
Oh yeah, then sports theme.
Yeah,
which some people came.
Yeah,
and the participation there was like, I don't know, probably say 40% of our members really participated. The last one, tie dye,
was a big one.
Felt like we had
people were making tie dye shirts.
Yeah,
too,
like
which is great.
I felt like we had 70% participation on that. And the last night is always the big night for Friday Night Lights because it's just everyone knows.
Well,
it's
we're
over.
Also doing a big event too. It's not just like here's the workout. We're also getting together afterwards.
Having a barbecue, that kind of stuff.
Kind of leverage that time where everybody's together.
Yeah, so we do build up. No matter what it is, we build up to the last one and make the last one kind of a celebration at the end of the open. So again, it's a great way, just an easy way to bring your community together.
Yeah,
especially around a workout.
Yeah.
The other way is the intramural open. We've done intramural open in the past, and essentially what you do is you divide up your community. We can talk about how to do that briefly, but you divide up your community into teams. 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams, depending upon how many
people you got participating.
Yeah. You probably want, at least 10 to 20 people per team for scoring purposes.
Yeah.
But here's what's cool with the intramural open. The intramural open is you give, essentially what all you're doing is it's like fantasy league, but you're giving points for certain things.
Yeah.
And those things.
Not always performance based.
Yeah, not always performance based. We do include performance.
Yeah.
We give points based upon top 5 men in the gym, top 5 women in the gym, top 5 scaled men and women, and top 5 masters.
Yeah.
As they are, not master. We didn't do masters scaled.
No. No.
But because the scaled people, the master scaled had the opportunity to score with the scaled folks, and they did often.
Yeah.
Because their weights adjust based upon the age group.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we would give points for each of those, like so 5 points for first, 4 points for second, exactly, all the way down to 1 point for fifth place. Which gave everybody like that leaderboard, just scoring those points every week. It changed. Like the same people were not showing up.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And then here's the one scoring opportunity that was just huge. And this was kind of like a breakthrough moment for intramural opens.
This is why I wanted to do the intramural this year.
So we would give points for number of judging. So if you judged a workout, that was 1 point. Judged 2 workouts,
it almost got to a point where they were like fighting over, like, no, I'm judging this person.
Oh yeah, they literally. So what we would do is every night, for the intramural open, we would have heat times we would put them on the hour on the Mind app for our schedule. So people would, 20, 30 people would sign. Let's assume 30 people sign up for 7 p.m. And then when they come in, they had to put their name on a heat time within that hour.
And that's because we don't necessarily know how long the workout's
That's right.
take.
And so assuming we had 3 20-minute heats, right? So we could have transition time in between to change out the people.
15-minute workout or so.
Those people would put their names in those heat times. And then we would ask them next to them, put the name of a judge. And those judge spots, when we scored on the intramural open for judging, those judge spops would all be full.
Well, those judge spots were almost full before the actual athletes signed up for the heat.
Yeah. So there were people who really enjoyed judging, and they saw it as an opportunity to score for their team. And judging became a major influencer in the team's total scores. It was really cool. So that was that was like, oh my God, the intramural open is the greatest thing ever, because finding adequate judges for it. And here's one of the things that Jamie Lee has, pushed me hard to do, and Diablo to do, is always make sure our judges are certified. Meaning they've taken the CrossFit certification course. And so this was an incentive to get them to do that as well, which was cool. So we got judges taking the certification course, and then judges, trying to score as much as possible. The other scoring opportunities that we gave was essentially spirit of the open every week.
Yeah.
And that was just the person who was, around the most visible scoring that, and that person got points. I forget some of the other stuff, but there's a number of things you can create those categories to essentially influence what results you want to see at your gym for your intramural open. Let's pull up the scoring sheet.
Yeah. So this is the overall scores that we had.
So this was because there was 5 workouts with 6 total scoring opportunities. And so I kept this on an Excel spreadsheet, and then would publish this like the 2 days after the open event. So if we did it on Friday Night Lights, I would try to publish.
You published it by Tuesday.
Yeah, try to publish it by Tuesday
night.
And it was actually not hard to pull scoring because you get CrossFit. I would go to CrossFit's leaderboard. I just basically go to my affiliate team score, and you could get everybody in your affiliate all of their scores. And then you simply just pulled their scores and dropped them in by name. And it was really easy to compile these. In terms of the judging, what was really cool is that the athlete, when they enter their score online for the open, you have to put your judge name.
Yeah. So it makes it a lot easier.
So that was on the CrossFit leaderboard.
And the score sheet too. So
it was in the score sheet too. But I could pull that data.
Yeah. Oh, so you were actually able to pull
I was
the
cutting,
judges.
Yeah, I was cut and pasting the whole Diablo team, their name, whether they were scaled or not, their score, and then their judge's name. So I had it all in a spreadsheet, and then I just sorted the data, and then I actually, I'm a little bit of a spreadsheet geek. I would create formulas to calculate the numbers. And it's really not that hard. And I would say if you're not good at that, find someone in your community that is, and they'll probably love to do it, because it's fairly easy to do. Import the data. And that's one of the things I pushed CrossFit in the past to do is, come on, you guys, give me
Give the affiliates an opportunity to do this.
Get better access to the data.
Yeah, that's a really good
they
point.
have a really nice leaderboard. Give us the data in a better format. The cutting and pasting the data, it works.
It's not as flawless.
But I would have to spend every week. I'd spend half an hour to 45 minutes to cleaning up the data before I could use the data.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then I would publish this and then show the week.
This is the whole.
So this is the total score. And then this is the week, every week.
So it's kind of small right here, but you can see there's a lot of data on there.
Well, yeah, and the data is basically the top men, top women, top masters, top judges, all of those things, and then total. So that way everybody could see. And I would update this every week. And it basically gave them, so they could see where they were as a team, how they ranked in each category, and who the people were.
And they were all assigned team captains too. Right.
Yeah.
So we had team captains that kind of helped rally.
And they created.
There was a coach and one or two members that were also.
Yeah. So we would assign a coach.
Yeah.
Right. And then we'd assign a coach to each team, and then a captain. They would vote on a captain. And then they created Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, all that stuff to rally.
It got heated there for a bit.
It really did. So, but the fun part of it is you literally need to start thinking about it now. The reason is one of the things that was really cool was and that other gyms have done this, and we did it as well, as we do a draft. We've done it two ways. One was we draw the names out of the hat, which was awesome, drawing names out of the hat. But the problem with drawing the names out of the hat,
you could end up with one team that's got some really heavy hitters.
Yes. And one of the things you could do too is you can put the top athletes or your coaches in a separate hat, and then each team you draw sequentially out of the top hat. So then that gets all your top players designated, and then you draw your rest of your community separately. Yeah. So if you want to do names out of hat, that's not a bad way to do it. And then but the fun way to do it is literally have a draft. Bring everybody together.
That's where I'm kind of feeling too. Like
bring all your team captains together, and again do the same thing. You separate all the top athletes in the gym.
Yep.
As like one portion of the draft, and then the second part of the draft is
pulling out of the hat.
Is the general population, or pulling out of the hat, either way. And it's a lot of fun to do, and it's like creating another event around the event. And then once the teams are announced, then you announce it to community. But it does require work.
Yes, it's not just a plug and play thing. No, you have to have a plan going into it, which is why we're talking about it now.
Well, right. So as an affiliate owner, you can plan on. I want to be realistic. I'd say 3 to 4 hours a week, extra work surrounding the open if you want to run a really good intramural open. Okay. But, you're talking 10 to 12 hours for a 3-week event. And it creates a long lasting, like there's people here that will never forget.
Yeah. I'm still seeing the purple rain patches that are on people's jackets or backpacks and whatnot.
Yeah, I was on Green Machine. Fuck the purple rain.
Hey, I was put on indigo.
They had a indigo blue.
Hey, we still beat you guys though.
Yeah, but the purple they created their own emoji, the little their purple umbrella, and so any comments you'd make in our Facebook group,
they crushed it in that category.
Oh my God, they nailed it! Yeah. Damn it. So good. And then we did, we do a group picture after every workout, and it was just like you could see there's all the people in purple, all the people in blue, all the people in green.
Yeah.
So it turned out that was just we'll never, it goes down in Diablo lore as like,
oh yeah,
one of the greatest.
Well, ever. I mean, that's what we're using as kind of like a guide for the next time, right?
Yeah. So the next intramural open we did Masters versus Millennials.
Yeah, that was interesting.
We did that one.
Yeah.
And then we did a team red
Masters won.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yes, the Masters won.
Yeah, I feel like the Masters won by like a decent margin.
Yeah, that was kind of a fun. It was pretty good when we had shirts made and everything. Masters, the shirts were actually
still
really
see
cool.
Those shirts.
Yeah, still heated. Yeah. And then again, the other thing is the theme. But I think we're leaning towards doing an intramural open and giving, because we have a lot of new members after the pandemic. It'd be fun to give them that experience.
I mean, I think like you said, it's the last couple of years have been a little bit of a wash as far as like trying to put together these events. And going into this next year, we have 3 weeks versus 5.
Right.
We have, maybe we can increment or include our quarterfinals into the intramural also. Like if you happen to have somebody that moves on to the quarterfinals, like that's extra bonus points for that team.
That's a good idea.
So there's something else we can
for the
play
last
with.
week, right? Yeah.
I mean, like you could go into that final week and you may be down X amount of points, but you have 3 people moving on to the quarterfinals and they perform well at the quarterfinals or perform, however they perform. Maybe there's bonus points for just making it to the quarterfinals. Right. So that's another idea we can play with.
Yeah, we will, definitely. So I think we're leaning towards intramural open. Damn it.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, no, it will be. But start now, you guys. I can't encourage you enough to start now. Start thinking about it. Start talking to your coaches. Start talking to your members that are into this stuff. And getting their ideas and getting their involved. Get them to help you run it, man.
Yeah.
They'll do that.
It's a really fun environment.
Oh yeah, no, I've had members already asking me about it.
So I think that we'll probably talk about it over the next week, and we can come back on here next week and just kind of lay out our game plan as far as how we're doing it.
Yep. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So then that way, if you were thinking and listening to this now, you can start thinking about what we're doing and how that might apply to your community.
Jamie's going to publish some of the stuff that we've got already. We'll just put it in a format that's viewable for the public.
Yeah.
And you can use a copy it. I don't care if you want to send Jamie or me a DM and get more data. I've got it. I've got all the intros. We've got just so much stuff.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of this information on the blog post for PRs all day.
Cool. And then the next thing I wanted to talk. Oh, by the way, and just final comment. Please, affiliates, participate in the open.
Yeah.
And if your members are complaining about the $20, just remind them it's 3 trips to Starbucks. It's probably not even 3 trips to Starbucks.
It's like
the CrossFit is not getting rich on the games in the open. I can tell you right now. Jamie and I both know how much this shit costs.
Yeah.
We've done a full event promotion for 3 years in the Grid League. We know how much all of that stuff costs. We know how much it costs to do events. And you guys know, if you've seen out there the events that have been unable to pay athletes, all of this stuff is very expensive. $20 to CrossFit will not hurt a member. And it goes to help preserve the sport of fitness. And if you don't think that's important, then you don't understand CrossFit and the methodology and the
community aspect.
The community aspect and the fact that it is measurable and repeatable. And this is the most demonstrable way to show it.
Yeah.
Please support the open, sign up, get your members sign up, get as many as you can. They will not forget the experience.
Yeah.
They will not. They'll attach that experience to your affiliate, to you and your coaches. You help that. And we didn't even talk about. Now I'm starting to get fired up.
Oh, let it roll.
I know. But we didn't even talk about the first pull-up.
Oh, the first pull-up, the first muscle up.
Holy shit!
The PR and the snatch at the end of a workout.
Oh my god! And if you do it on Friday Night Lights when there's other members here and people go nuts, there's people crying, and hugging, and it's just and it's like that's a life. That's not a memory that is short lived. That is a lifetime memory.
Yeah,
and it's easily creatable in the gym. So and you don't get those opportunities very often. So anyway, there's another reason to sign up for the open. Speaking of first things though, I posted this week in my, first I reposted something the CrossFit Games posted, or not CrossFit Games, but CrossFit Main Site posted. CrossFit Health reposted. My buddy Dale King posted it, and it was the first muscle up, and it's Sarah. I want to say her last name. Sarah Wilson out at CrossFit PSKC, which is Dale King's CrossFit affiliate. He also is the owner and founder and partner at Doc Spartan. I don't know what to say, man creams, lotions, underarm stuff. But he's been on Shark Tank.
Okay.
For that stuff, and it's killing. His business is killing it. It's all natural products.
Huh. Another one out of the CrossFit ecosystem.
Yeah, CrossFit ecosystem. But his true passion is in saving lives.
Yeah.
He's in, and we've talked about him before. His gym is in Portsmouth, Ohio, which is the ground zero for the opioid epidemic. And so his gym has a program that helps those that are struggling with addiction to basically redirect that to CrossFit. And the video, there's a link to it in my email. We'll give a link, but of Sarah Wilson, who, you see her first picture, like I think she's 24, 25. She looks like she's 45 and clearly looks addicted to drugs. And then her at the top of a bar muscle up is amazing. And then her after picture, like it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
And I get excited about CrossFit as I just started to get fired up about the Open. But, people ask me, friends, family ask me about CrossFit. And in the beginning, the first 10 years of CrossFit was all about the fitness.
Yeah.
I was just blown away that in such a short period of time, you could get so fit with a workout that was so short and so intense. Yeah. And then it became about, kind of following CrossFit's lead, how CrossFit helps cure chronic disease. It, reduces all the blood markers, from blood pressure to cholesterol to blood sugar, all of those things that help improve overall health. And we've seen it here where we get people off of their meds. Mm-hmm. But recently, all of these stories popping up about, especially as we've come through the opioid epidemic, and now it's fentanyl in San Francisco and LA are just kind of overwhelmed with those that are struggling with abuse, substance abuse, and how Dale and his team have just helped people literally turn their lives around. And then we've got a partnership now with the Phoenix group, the Phoenix org. And I think it's thephoenix.org. You go there and they basically provide fitness outlets for substance abusers that are in recovery. Mm-hmm. And we offer 5 classes a week in evenings. The last class that's available to the Phoenix members for free. We've got 4 or 5 members that are coming in that are doing CrossFit. And it's like, to me, it's like we're helping, we're literally helping reverse the
addiction.
Yeah, the addiction. But we're also like, we're dealing with the problem head on here at our gym.
Yeah.
Like there's all kind of, that everybody, bitches and moans about how cities are handling it or not handling it. It's a political issue, whether you're compassionate or oppressive, depending upon, which tactic's going to work best. But I can tell you right now, CrossFit works for these guys.
Yeah.
And it is literally saving lives. Yep. And demonstrated by, Sarah Wilson, but many other stories that Dale King has at CrossFit PSKC.
Over the last 15 years, CrossFit has, you hear stories like that. I know of many of people that are in recovery that have gotten into CrossFit, and it's, in a lot of cases, it's saved their lives.
Yeah.
And it's, you can't say enough about the whole concept.
No, we've talked about Matt Schindeldecker too.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's a friend of both of Jamie's and I's. And he's got
the juvenile program.
Yeah, he's got the juvenile detention program. Yeah. He's at CrossFit Crave, also in Ohio. Mm-hmm. But now he's got a program that's getting started in Chicago.
Oh, so he's branching it out then.
Yeah, so he went up and presented to Superior Court judges, a group of I think it was 12 or 13 Superior Court judges in Chicago, and they said, we want to do this program. His program basically takes kids that are coming out of the juvenile detention system that are essentially parolees, and they get brought to his gym to work out, and the state pays for it, full boat membership.
That's awesome.
And the reason why they continued to do it and renewed it during the pandemic, even, these guys paid these kids to come during the pandemic, is because they have the lowest rate of recidivism of any other program that the state has run in Ohio for these kids.
Yeah.
Of essentially, lack of repeat offenders.
Yeah.
They stick it out.
Yeah.
Again, saving lives.
And the fact that he's collected all that data just to prove hey, this is actually proven.
So Chicago, he's got one going in Denver is starting this month.
Awesome.
And then I've talked to him. We're doing a call tomorrow to talk about how we can get someone in the Bay Area, either here in our county or in San Francisco, to get a program going.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get programs going in LA, help them get programs going in LA as well. So CrossFit saves lives. So anyway, I go back to I rave about CrossFit and its effect on fitness. Then it was curing chronic disease, and now it's just CrossFit saves lives.
Yeah,
like
the whole picture.
And you can challenge me all you want. It's like CrossFit can't possibly save. It's like some fitness program. It's not just a fitness program. What happens
it goes
here?
Much deeper than
no,
that.
it's much deeper. It's a methodology. It's the intensity. It's functional fitness, but it's also the community, the support. Like it's so many things.
Yeah,
I'll rave again, but it's really fascinating to me, kind of interpersonally or introspectively, is like how it's changed. For me, it was fitness. Then it was curing chronic disease. Now it's helping addicts recover and juvenile delinquents
have another chance,
turn their lives around.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like I said, you can't say enough.
We know it works. No,
yeah.
you can talk about whatever programs you want, money you want to spend, and all the counselors and everything else, and all the other programs you got going on. Here's one that works.
It's not an easy one.
No.
Which is, I think, maybe one of the hard parts for some people to get involved. Is it's not a pill you get to take. No. It's you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. But like you always say, it's anything worth doing is going to be hard.
Yep.
And the more people can come into these gyms and overcome the adversity of a workout, adversity outside of the gym becomes maybe a little bit less daunting, right?
I think what we'll do is we'll bring on. I know Dale King would do it. Dale King's kind of a big deal, but I can get him on to our podcast. So I can get Matt Schindeldecker on as well.
Cool.
But I think our first guest,
we'll have some guests.
We haven't told her, but
we haven't told her.
We haven't told her yet. But I think we're gonna get Alessandra Pacelli on next week. It'll be our first guest, and it should be Alessandra.
Yeah, definitely.
And we talked about. First of all, we see her every day.
Yeah, she's an amazing person, amazing athlete, and she's an amazing coach.
So much to talk about. Like she can talk about the transition to becoming from a world-class athlete to becoming a world-class coach. She's a sought-after coach here at Diablo now.
100%.
And but it wasn't like an easy transition for her.
No, I don't think anything like that is an easy transition. I mean, she's been a competitive athlete at the top of her game for a decade.
Yeah.
And then having to transition into a coaching environment. I mean, she's definitely set up for it. She's got the knowledge. She's got the ability to show people how. And she's also got the patience.
Oh yeah.
Which is amazing.
But what's really remarkable when you talk to her is like she was nervous as hell about it.
Yeah.
And we have good coaches here, and she was she was nervous that she was not going to be able to measure up as coach. And everybody, the community and us, and we're all looking at her like, are you
like, get the fuck out of here?
Are you freaking crazy? Of course you're going to be an amazing coach, but she sets high standards for herself.
Yeah, which is good.
But we can talk about it because she's coaching a lot now, and she's doing PT, she's doing clinics, she's
working with us.
She's really building a freaking great business for herself as a coach.
Yeah,
and to me, that's super admirable.
Mm-hmm.
She's not doing the influencer thing, which
she's influencing in the right way where it matters, right?
Right on the
like
ground,
in person.
Look, and I'm not
front
gonna,
lines.
I'm not going to knock that too much. Those athletes work hard, and they deserve to take advantage of it however they can. As annoying as it might be, it is something that if you can influence online.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's influencing in the right direction.
Yeah, and Sandra is influencing one person at a time right here in the gym.
Yep.
And it's amazing. So anyway, we'll get her on to talk about that, and maybe have her talk about the Open too, because doing the Open for her is like,
oh yeah,
it's like
it's a different animal that people don't realize,
right? Because it's fraught with all sorts of emotions, right?
Yeah.
Am I retired? I'm retired. I'm an age group now. People think I'm going to do age group. What if I don't perform? Oh, it's just all of it.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool to talk about.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Teen trials.
Oh yeah.
Relocated one last time. This time is for real.
Yeah.
May 13th next year. Reason why we pushed it back again was parents have schedules lined up.
Yeah.
And when we originally moved, it was due to the Spartan race. Wanted to open up the opportunity for other athletes to get a part of that. And that's what kind of snowballed into where it is now. But we are now doing it after the semifinals, the age group semifinals. And I think this is a much better time frame for it too, because we can ride off the highs of the Open and potential quarterfinals, and any of these teen athletes that have a chance to go and compete in the quarterfinals, here's an opportunity for them to have an in-person competition in the Bay Area at Diablo CrossFit, and they get to come out and throw down.
And so it's the only team competition.
Yeah.
The other thing is we're talking to CrossFit next month about making it a CrossFit licensed event as well.
Yeah.
So that may happen too.
Yeah.
It will be the premier team event in the Bay Area.
Yeah. 100%.
And if people want to travel to it, that's awesome. So cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Right on, you guys. Thanks. Awesome day.
Until next time.
Cheers.